Good morning, friends. It's a lazy Sunday here at RichKat Ranch, and I'm about to head to the kitchen to make some homemade pancakes from scratch. I'm going to walk you through my recipe. I don't cook with recipes. You'll hear that a lot here on my channel. Richard is out scooping poop to prepare for some sniff spot guests we have on the schedule today. So while he's doing that, I'm going to be in the kitchen getting some breakfast ready for us, and I thought I would let you guys follow along. So watch and learn. Okay, I'm going to walk you through my pancake recipe, which I don't cook with recipes. If you're new here, I don't use recipes. Now, if I'm cooking someone else's dish, then obviously I've got to use a recipe because I've never done it before. But for things that I've done here multiple times or for a long time or all of the above, everything is just kind of guesstimating, and I'm going to walk you through my simple pancake recipe. All right, we're going to start with about a cup of unsifted all-purpose flour. To that I'm going to add not quite a teaspoon of baking powder. We'll get that kind of blended around, and then into that I'm going to put not quite a quarter cup of sugar. Let's just kind of blend it a little bit. And then I'm going to add it's probably about a cup of milk. And sometimes I do have to adjust, add a little more, add a little less if I've got it too thick or too runny, or I might even add just a little bit of water in here. It's kind of doughy. But we'll get that started. And then we'll add an egg. This is an egg courtesy of Jerry and Susan at Butler Family Farms. They dropped off a dozen fresh chicken eggs when they paid their visit to us a couple weeks ago. Get this mixed up. You want this to be, thin enough that you can kind of pour it onto your hot griddle. I use an iron skillet. I just make one pancake at a time, and then I keep them warm in the oven while everything else is being done. Okay, I'll be back when I've got this all mixed up. I am going to add just a little tiny bit of water. I may not even use all of this. I just want this a little bit thinner so that it's easy to pour it into my hot skillet. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, you see that? Nice. All right, and I've got some butter melting in my iron skillet here. You want to let it get hot before you put your pancake batter in it. And generally the butter gets kind of browned as I do more and more pancakes. I do have to add butter to the pan off and on. I'm going to get my oven turned on so that it's ready to keep these warm. Not real high, maybe 200. And I'm just going to put a piece of foil on the shelf. Put a piece of foil right there. And I just use a ladle. Turn this heat up a little bit now that butter's melted. The butter's kind of bubbly. That's what I want. And then I'm just going to ladle some batter there. That's a nice size little pancake. And if you're new to making pancakes, what you want to watch for as the batter is heating is you want this surface to get nice and bubbly. Lots of little bubbles on the surface here. So I'll be back in a minute when it's bubbly enough to flip it over. We're just about ready. I see the smoke coming off of this. I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Get it back to the center, close to the center. It could have gone a little bit longer. I turned the heat down some because I just didn't like all that smoke coming off my pan. I've got some sausage going while the pancakes are cooking. So once I've flipped it over, and usually it takes a couple of minutes, you know, the trick I guess is getting the right temperature for the skillet or the griddle. It takes a couple of minutes for that first side to get bubbly enough and then flip it over, and then it just takes another, you know, minute, 80 seconds or so, typically. So this is a recipe, and this is how I got to this point, a trial and error, just doing it over the years. I do like to put a little pat of butter on top of the pancake before it goes in the oven. Here I am one-handed again today. So I'm just going to put this on here while that bottom side is cooking, because I like my pancakes nice and buttery, and I only use real butter. Real butter is a healthy fat, all natural, not made out of, you know, plastic or oil or whatever margarine is made out of. I think back to, you know, my grandparents and great-grandparents, and they got up every morning and had eggs and bacon for breakfast, lived to be ripe old ages. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so we're going to put this in the oven. Got it in the oven on that little thing. Turn this down a little bit more, put another little bit of butter there in the pan. And get another batch of batter ready here. I'm sure you've already seen that kind of the theme is a little bit of this and about this much and not quite this much. Those are my recipes, which always makes it hard when someone asks me for a recipe. If they, you know, eat something that I cook and they ask me for a recipe, what do I tell them? That's why a lot of my recipes here on the channel, I just call it watch and learn. I try to guesstimate for people because I know some people need a little more specific information. I think probably a lot of my homesteader friends are similar type cooks, where they just have done something long enough that they know to modify if something doesn't work. I'm going to wash my little spatula for the sausage right quick. It's always good to do that before you're ready to take the finished cooked product out. Clean spatula now to do the rest of the sausage. I've got my chicken livers out thawing because I'm going to feed those to the flock this afternoon with their dinner. Oh, see, there's a nice, beautiful, bubbly surface. That's about what you want when it's time to flip it over. That tells you it's time to flip it over. Yeah, beautiful golden brown there. But if you're new to cooking, the reason it's important to wash your utensil periodically when you're dealing with raw meat is because raw meat just has a lot of pathogens in it. That's why people don't eat raw food. And so you can contaminate your cooked meat, whatever it is you're making, if you're using a utensil that you don't wash, you know, about halfway through while you were using it to stir or flatten or whatever you might be doing. I'm trying to get this flipped over here. So you keep yourself safe by just washing your spatula or your spoon or whatever it is you're using before the final time you're going to go in and interact with the meat. Now in my mind, when it's on this side and this side is already nice and browned, that's probably not contaminating my spatula. And the sausage is probably pretty much done, but I'm kind of particular about cooking sausage. Pork can be just dangerous, you know, anyway. So I probably tend to overcook pork a little bit. All right, let's put some butter on that one. And put it in the oven. Alright, and we'll just repeat this process until we've got all of our pancakes made, and then I'll be back with you to let you know how they turned out. Alright, there's my finished stack of pancakes. I like maple syrup on my pancakes. It's insulin friendly. I'm not diabetic, but there is diabetes in my family, and my sister was diagnosed as pre-diabetic years ago. Richard just likes regular pancake syrup on his, so we're going to give these a try. Just get the top two, and a couple pieces of sausage. I like to warm my syrup. If I didn't say that already, I like to warm my syrup before I put it on my pancakes. And I don't like what I would consider a lot of syrup, but I'm going to get my first bite. Light, but filling. And again, just enough for a couple people. We'll let Richard try them. For cleanup, of course, you never want to use soap on an iron skillet. So I usually just let this cool off a little. I'll wipe out as much of the melted butter as I can. And then once it's completely cool, I'll take it over to the sink, and I have a little scrubber that's dedicated specifically to just scrubbing out my iron skillet. These are pretty non-stick. Usually I don't have a whole lot of stuff I have to scrape off of it, but just thought I'd throw that in there if you're new to cooking with iron pots and pans and skillets. Little Posy supervising. Okay, so here comes the true test. Richard's gonna try it out.
Good.
He's my ultimate taste tester because he's pretty picky. So, try them. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Be safe, be happy, be well, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.